Hello guys and welcome to my Lucky Chloe guide. In this guide I'm going to give you a general overview of the character, then I will talk about her punishers, pokes, useful moves, stances, okizeme and throws, rage arts and rage drive, and then about her combos. Chloe is a cute character that is fun to play and annoy your opponent with. She has lots of different strings she can utilize, but mostly only situationally. She's not the type of character that uses only 20 moves from their move lists to win. She has stances, but she's not a stance heavy character because her options are quite limited. I would like to point out that her pokes are pretty good for how weak of a character she is, because she is a weak character. Firstly because her block and whiff punishers are very poor compared to other characters. Secondly, she struggles to open up defensive players because she lacks range on most of her attacks. Her throws are pretty ordinary and her lows are not good either. Thirdly, apart from a small percentage of her move list, she's very punishable and has to take risks for a small reward. Do not let her weaknesses make you drop her though. I think you can win with any character in Tekken as long as you are a good player and you have good fundamentals. If you are not familiar with the concept of frame data and punishers, I advise you to look up these terms and learn about them before watching this section. These are crucial concepts in any fighting game. If you are familiar with them, we can move on to the list of Chloe's punishers. For 10 frames, she has her 1-2. It's a high mid string that reaches pretty far and gives Chloe plus 7 frames on hit, which is a lot. And then she has the option to follow up with a few strings she has, and I will talk about later. For 12 frames, she's got 2-2, which does really decent damage. But it's high and minus 12 on block, so you do not want to use this as a poke. An alternative for her 12 frame punisher is 2-3, which transitions into one of her stances that I will talk about later. It does less damage, but if you like the stance and if you feel like you can use it well against your opponent, then you can go for it as a punisher or as a poke. She does not have anything up until 15 frames where she gets her up forward 3 hop kick. The range is bad, so Chloe can struggle with punishing moves that have pushback. As a move itself, her hop kick is a very special one. Usually every hop kick in the game is minus 13 on block, but hers is launch punishable. It's like minus 17. On the right side, it doesn't only crush lows but highs as well, so you can use this as a panic move. For 16 frames, she has her down forward 2. It launches crouching opponents as well, which is of course really good. The range is not amazing, but not that bad either. It will not reach moves with pushback. That is why she has another punisher, back 1. This is a 17 frame one, and you will use this for punishing moves with pushback. For example, I recorded Paul doing that fist. See, it says punish. So it's really good, of course. And then you can run up and do another one for Okizami. Okay, so that's it for her standing punishers. For her while standing punishers, she has while standing 4 for 11. It's an ordinary while standing 4. It doesn't do much damage, but it gives her plus 8 or plus 9 frames on hit, so you can follow up with her with other moves to pressure your opponent. This while standing 4 also picks up those slides, for example loss or release. She does not have anything for 13 like most characters, but for 14 she gets a launcher in while standing 1-4. It is launch punishable on blocks, so you do not want to use this outside of punishment. For 15 she has her hop kick, and for 16 she has her while standing 2. She has another full crouch punisher, which is 17 frame fast, and it is full crouch down forward 4. It's 17 frames fast, as I mentioned before, and it does really good damage, so I think this should be your go-to punisher for really unsafe stuff. Her pokes are really decent. A lot of them track, but on the other hand, they mostly lack range. 1-2 is her 10 frame punisher, but it's also mid-high, high-mid, so it's a great poke. And she has a few options after this one. For example, 1-2-2, which is a safe mid that knocks down on counter hit. So yeah, it knocks down on counter hit for a guaranteed follow-up. And then she has 1+2, which is a homing move, a safe high homing move, and it launches on counter hit, so that's really good. I think you have to be closer to your opponent, like this. Yeah, exactly. So these are the two best follow-ups after 1-2. But then she has a third one, which is also mid. It knocks down even on normal hit, but it's -11 on block. But this one is useful for when your opponent blocks 1-2 and they want to step the mid or duck the high, because the one follow-up is not steppable and it's a mid, so it's not duckable. So that's why this option is useful, but otherwise, unless they start stepping you or ducking you, I would not use this. The next poke which I want to talk about is her down forward one. This is a main poke for any character. Hers is 13 frames fast and it's only -1 on block, so that's really good. And it tracks slightly to Koi's left. It's not a bad down forward one overall. The hitbox is a bit high, as you can see, so it may get crushed more easily than other down forward ones. Another move that I like is down 2. This is a mid that is 16 frames fast. It knocks down on counter hit, and it's +2 on block. So that's really good for a character like Chloe, who barely has any safe moves. Then there is her standing 4. I think this is her main keep out tool. It's 12 frames fast, and it tracks slightly to her right. The range on this move is not as good because of her short legs. Sidestep 4 is a low that leaves her in back turn stance, and is one of my favorite ways of getting into the stance. It tracks to her right and it juggles on counter hit. So it's really good. On paper it is only -9 on block, but that is not true, since it leaves her in her back turn stance. She has to turn forward to block, but turning around is not fast enough, so if someone blocks sidestep 4, Chloe cannot block 15 frame moves. I tested that. She can block anything past 16 frames. Another great mid poke from her standing is standing 3. It's a 15 frames fast mid that is -7 on block. Occasionally you can finish the string by pressing 4. This is a launcher, but it is -14 on block, so you can get punished pretty hard. The 4 is not natural on hit, on normal hit I mean. I can show you right now. Yeah, see hit block it, but it is guaranteed on counter hit. Sorry, wrong move. Yeah, as you can see, it's a counter hit launcher. Yeah, but it's -14, so I would not spam this, but I would use it only occasionally. A similar mid to her standing 3 is her down forward 3. It's also 15 frames fast and a safe one, and she has a few options after this. Down forward 3-3 tracks really well to both sides, but it is -13 on block and can be interrupted with jabs. This is where down forward 3-2 comes in. This is a counter hit launcher that is -11 on block. So if I want a counter hit move, then this is a really good one, and it's pretty safe. A patient opponent, I don't think that a patient opponent will fall for this mix-up very often. My favorite low poke is down 4. It is very fast, it is 13 frames fast, it crushes highs instantly, it is one of Chloe's safest lows at -13. It has decent tracking to both sides, and it leaves Chloe in her full crouch for more options. She can do a while standing move or one of her moves from full crouch. The bad thing about this low is that it is minus on hit, and an opponent that knows this will interrupt you. It is a part of her mind games. If you do not press buttons after this move, there is nothing to interrupt. If you make them whiff an attack, they can get scared, and that gives you an opportunity to start her pressure occasionally. She has two very useful pokes from full crouch. The first one being full crouch down forward 1. It is a low with very good range for Chloe. See, it has decent range. It gives her +4 frames on hit, which is rare for Chloe, as most of her lows are minus on hit. It is also really good as it tracks well to both sides too. It is -14 on hit, so it can be punished pretty hard, but at least not by most characters. And the most important thing about this move is that it's a counter hit launcher. So -14 is not that bad for a move that is this good. The other move I want to talk about from her full crouch, which I use as a poke, is her full crouch down forward 2. It's a mid that is safe on block. It gives her +2 frames on hit. It has amazing range. Like, look at this, it has really amazing range. It wall splats, although it does not knock down in the open, and it leaves Chloe closer to her opponent, so it's useful for advancing forward. Before getting into her stances, I'd like to talk about the most useful moves she has from standing position. And these are the most notable ones. First of all, 1+2. It's the same homing move as from her 1-2 1+2 or forward 1+2. It still counter hit launches, and it's -8 on block, so it's still safe. The downsides of this move are that the range is not amazing and it is pretty slow at 20 frames. Then we have her back 1+2 count, not a counter hit launcher, but a power crush. This ball splats to her left. All the hits are highs, but they jail on blocks, so they cannot be ducked unless they duck the first hit as well. It only does 30 damage, so the reward is not amazing, but since it is safe, you can use this pretty often. Down forward 4 is my favorite power low for Chloe. It deals good damage, it is only minus 12 on block, it's plus 7 on hit, and it leaves her opponent crouching, so that is pretty scary. This also hits grounded very reliably from any angle, and it crushes lows. So you can use this after you can use this to crush low get up kicks. I like to use this in a situation where my opponent will either stay grounded or do a low get up kick. The disadvantages of this move are that the range is not amazing, the move is really linear and slow, and since it behaves like a hop kick, you can get jabbed out of it in the air. Another one of my favorite pressure tools for Chloe is her running 3. It is a mid that is plus 3 on block, and of course any move that is plus on block is useful. Chloe has one counter hit tool I really like, back 4. This is a 16 frame fast, safe knee, and it is plus 8 on normal hit and minus 8 on block. So you can use this without risking too much. If you need a good mid for wall pressure, forward 3 can do the job. It is safe and it has decent range, but it is slow. Up forward 3+4. Up forward 3+4, 3+4. Yeah, this one. This is also really useful. It is a string that is linear and slow, but both hits are safe, and the second one is a launcher that is uninterruptible and hard to step to Chloe's right. If you make your opponent block after the first hit, you can start doing up forward 3+4, 3, which enters her left twist stance, and this will also track those who try to step the second hit of up forward 3+4, 3+4 to mid. The only bad thing about this string is that the low kick does not, it is not really rewarding. The last useful move I want to talk about is her back 3. This is a really important move for Chloe. This is one of the few moves she has that have really good range. It's a homing move, but it does not deal enough damage, only 15 points. She can transition into her back turn stance after this by holding back, like this. This move is one of the main sources for mind games. First of all, this is a 17 frames mid. It is minus 11 on block, so if you start using this move without her transitioning into back turn, your opponent will want to punish you for this if they know that this is unsafe. And since all the 11 frame punishers are highs, Chloe can go into her back turn stance and make and crush the punish with a few of her options from back turn. And I will talk about her back turn stance in a minute. But for now, my favorite thing to do after back 3 is rolling forward with forward 3+4. Chloe cannot enter back turn manually like most characters with back turn stances. She does, however, have a few good moves that transition into her back turn stance. The ones I already mentioned are her back 3 and sidestep 4, which are in my opinion the best ways of entering backturn stance. Sidestep 4 is +2 on hit, so that is why it's good. And I already explained the mind games around back 3. Other options she has are forward 4 and forward 4-4. The second hit of forward 4-4 is a launcher, and both hits are safe, but after the first hit the second one is floatable with jabs. So if you enter her backturn stance after the first hit, this can cause mind games as well. Then the last one, which is in my opinion not really good, after her left twist by holding back, but this is not good in my opinion because everything she does from backturn this way is interruptible, so I would not really advise you to do this unless your opponent is scared. Her backturn stance is generally really weak in my opinion. Everything she does is linear except her backturn down 4-4, which transitions into another one of her stances, her scoot stance. But even this move tracks only to Chloe's right. One thing you can do to realign yourself with your opponent is rolling towards them to get another mix-up. But if they anticipate this, they can launch you with a hop kick or any other mid during the roll. So be careful. One advantage on her backturn stance is that if her opponents are impatient and try to retaliate with highs, almost every option she has crushes highs. I already mentioned her backturn down 4-4. This is a low mid string that transitions into her scoot stance, and the other low she has is down 3+4. It does okay damage. It is only -12 on block. It has pretty good range, and it knocks down on counter hit. It does not give her any advantage on hit though, because it's -1 on hit. But as you can see, it knocks down on counter hit. Maybe you can get a juggle too, I'm not sure actually. Oh yes, you can get a juggle. Okay, so she has her 1-2 poke strings from backturn, and these are useful especially after sidestep 4, because sidestep 4 is +2 on hit and her backturn jabs are 8 frames fast, so she will interrupt any retaliation. These are generally good in case you want something fast from her backturn stance. Backturn 4 is a mid that crushes lows, it forces crouch, and it is only -10 on block. So unless your opponent has a good 10th frame punisher from crouching, they can only do a crouch jab to punish you. Since it crushes lows, Chloe can be floated during this move. If you do not abuse this very often and use her high crushes instead, they will probably not try to jab you out of this move. Backturn 3+4 is a weird move. It is safe on block because she turns around fast enough to block, and it is a counter hit launcher. It crushes highs at startup, but later during the animation Chloe can be floated. That is why her backturn 3+4 is a tricky move. The follow-up 4 is not really good. I mean, it's not good at all because it's -15 on block, and you would not be able to do a juggle in case the 3+4 counter hits. The most dangerous move she has from back turn is her back turn 3+4, 3+4, 3+4. And that is because it's all natural on hit and it's a launcher, her most damaging launcher. You can get like 95 points of damage out of this without walls and rage. Your opponent can either sidestep this or interrupt after the second 3+4 with 13 frame minutes after this one. No, after... yeah, before she does the last kick. But they cannot interrupt with jabs because the last hit crushes highs, so they have to do mids. If you anticipate that they will try to interrupt or step you, you can only do the forward 3+4, 3+4 to stop the string and stay back. Like this. No, wait. Yeah, like this. So it makes it safer. But this option itself is unsafe because if they know that you will not finish the string, they can come up to you and fault you for a juggle. So both options are unsafe. Chloe enters this stance after forward forward 4, left twist 4, down back 4-4, or back turn down 4-4. The best one, in my opinion, is after the best transition into scoot is forward forward 4. Her three options from this stance are scoot 3+4, yeah, this one. This is a counter hit launcher that is safe on block. It is hard to step and it is uninterruptible. This one is the least risky option with good reward. Then she has scoot 4-4. No, I mean scoot 4, which is a mid that is steppable and interruptible, so it's not that good. Then she has scoot 4-4, which is a launcher that is +4 on block, but it is also very steppable and very interruptible. The last option she has is her scoot down back 4. It is a low that is -16 on block, it is -5 on hit, and the following mid is safe, but even if you land the first low hit, they can interrupt the mid, so this is not good at all. The only way I think this low can be useful is if your opponent is afraid of scoot 3+4. So scoot 3+4 is your best bet from her scoot stance. The last stance she has is her left twist stance. The only ways to enter this stance are 2-3, down back 3, and up forward 3+4-3. Like this, yeah. All of these are really decent ways of entering the stance. 2-3 is natural as long as the third hits, so you can use this as a punisher, like I mentioned before. Down back 3 is the natural way of entering the stance. It is +7 on hit, but -16 on block. Up forward 3+4-3 is great when you make your opponent block or step up forward 3+4, 3+4, the mid extension. If you enter her left twist stance that way, the low is only -11 instead of -16, so it's much safer. Everything she does from left twist is interruptible except down back 3-4, the double low, which makes down back 3 itself safer too, because the second hit is only -13. In case they start blocking the second hit of down back 3-4, her left twist 1-2 strings will catch all while standing 4s. She has her 1-2 strings from this stance as well, and the only reliable thing they can do is a crouch jab. So her jabs and the second low, down back 3-4, are your only tools to make them stop pressing buttons. But these options are pretty unrewarding. If it works out for you and you get the opponent scared, you can start using her other moves from this stance, like left twist 2 and the strings. It is the same animation as her standing forward 2 normally, but if you do this from her left twist stance, all the follow-ups are guaranteed as long as the forward 2 connects. Her left twist 3 is a launching mid that is +4 on block. You will most likely never get a launch from this move because it's so slow, but it's great for pressure anyway because of the plus frames. From left twist stance, she can access both of the other stances that she has. Back turn and scoot. You enter back turn by pressing back, and entering this stance is a better idea than the other stance because you get better mix-ups from her back turn stance. But I would do this only as long as your opponent doesn't press buttons after left twist, because neither of her back turn options crush highs or interrupt anything if she enters the stance this way. Not even a crouch jab will interrupt anything. Chloe's throw game is pretty weak. She gets good stuff at the wall, but they are pretty mediocre in the open. She has one command grab, down forward 1+2, which is useful when you want to switch sides with your opponent, but unfortunately they do not switch sides if your opponent breaks the throw. She gets some guaranteed stuff after this. If they hold back, you get her jab strings for free, and if they hold down back to recover from back turn stance, the jab will whiff. So what you will want to do is you can do a hop kick then for big damage, but that is really unsafe. So if you want something safer, you can do down forward 3-1, which is also guaranteed and it is much safer, but for less damage. Or you can do 3-4 for slightly bigger damage, but that is -14, so it's not that safe. From her regular throws, she pretty much doesn't get anything for Oki except back one. Her one throw is better in the open, in my opinion, than her two throw. Like, both throws leave Chloe far away from the opponent, and after each throw, the 1 and 2 throw, they can stand up straight or do the new backward animation to get away from Chloe safely. But if they side roll, for example, she will hit them. Or she can counter hit, launch, wake up kicks. Like this. No. Yeah, like this. For big damage. The bad thing about the wake up kicks is that she cannot dash forward in. So she has to do back one right after the throw. And if they stay on the ground or side roll, this way she will not reach them with back one. Because they're so far away from her. See? She gets the same off of her 2 throw, but she doesn't launch wake up kicks that well. Low wake up kicks will still hit her. This is why I think that her 1 throw is much better. If you hit your opponent at the wall with if you throw your opponent at the wall with either the 1 or 2 throw, she pretty much gets a guaranteed back 1 unless they stand up. I'll try to show you. So I'll set them to do wake up backward animation, for example. So it re-wall sparks them for really good damage. So the only way to escape this is by standing up straight. As you see, Paul blocked it. So if they like standing up, you can do any 15 frame mid to re-wall splat them. My favorite one is 3-4. So she gets really cheap of Yumi at the wall. Alisa's rage drive is pretty good. You get a huge launcher. I missed the jumper there. Come on. Whatever. There we go. So she obviously gets huge damage off of her rage drive, and she has 2 versions. The first version is where you hit her, and she does this little dance, and then you hit 1+2 midair. But I would not do this. I would rather press back so that she would enter her backturn stance after the rage drive. Unfortunately, her rage drive is not plus on block, so even if you stay backturn and do jabs to interrupt their retaliation, you will get interrupted. So sadly, it's not plus on block. But then again, you get a huge launcher, and that is what you need when your opponent has a big life lead. Her rage arts are really interesting. Probably the most unique rage arts in the game, because she has 3 versions of the rage art. One does 50 damage, the other one does 60, and the last one does 65. What you have to do is... Okay, first of all I'm gonna show you the normal rage art.
Here we go.
It's a low. So as you can see, it does 60 damage. To get 60 damage, you have to time your attacks. Like, you have to keep pressing 3 as she is kicking her opponent at least 4 times. She starts spelling out her name. So I'm gonna turn on command history and try to do it. Like, I'm not really good at this, but I'm sure you will get this after a few minutes of practice. I only got one letter right. So I'm gonna try again.
Here we go.
No.
Here we go.
Wow, this is difficult. There we go. This is the second version of her rage art. And now I'm gonna try to do the third one.
Here we go. Oh yeah.
Yay! 65 damage. And I got it on my first try. I'm really happy. That doesn't happen often to me. So yeah, this was her rage art. I mean, the 3 versions of her rage art.